Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fun or Run. This is the review show where we take a look at a game and let you know whether or not it is fun or if you should run. The game in question today is the Golden Tee Arcade Cabinet from Arcade 1UP. Hey everybody, this is Chad, the Gaming Dad, back with you once again on another Fun or Run. And hey, what do you know, we're back looking at another Arcade 1UP unit. I told you, if you look back, here's a link if you missed it. Here's the Star Wars one. At the end of that, I said, I don't know, maybe we're thinking about something else. And Golden Tee was on my radar, so here it is. So let's get into this thing. Golden Tee, the game, was first originated by Incredible Technologies all the way back in the late 80s. It was actually a kit. It wasn't its own arcade. It was a conversion kit to other arcade units, turning them into golf games and primarily putting them in bars and stuff. Didn't really get more widely popular until the mid-90s. And back in the mid-90s, you would be hard-pressed to find any kind of sports bar, or just regular bar for that matter, without at least one Golden Tee game sitting there. There's just something about hanging out with your friends, having a beer, playing some Golden Tee. It all just seemed to fit together perfectly. Now, I didn't really play much of it, especially back in college, because I was kind of not flush with cash as you would need to be. It's not the cheapest arcade game. You'd have to pump a lot of quarters in there to keep playing, especially if you're going to do the whole 18-hole course. But the few times that I did play, I remember it being pretty fun. However, some people were probably able or just didn't care, because I'd see some guys at bars all the time that would just sit there and play it all night long. It just seemed like they had endless amounts of quarters and dollars in their pocket. But they just kept playing because it sucked them in. It made them want to just keep one-upping each other. You see what I did there? One up? Yeah, pun intended. So once the game became so popular, then they linked the cabinets together through the internet. So now you wouldn't just have bragging rights over your friends, but now you would have them online. You would have global bragging rights. There were new versions of the game every single year. There still is. The latest release is Golden Tee Golf Live 2020. But if you're looking to buy one of those for your house or one of the other full-size arcade units, you better be ready to fork over a few grand. The new one, I think, is almost $5. So without spending thousands of dollars to get something at home, there have been other options. There have been lots of different home releases on various platforms, including the famous plug-and-play Golden Tee game. And what do you know, I got a video about that here too. Take a look if you want to. Found it at the flea market. One of my flea market finds. Real good stuff. I'll put that in the description too, along with the Star Wars one if you're looking for things. Anyway, that brings us to the game that we're looking at today, the Arcade 1UP Golden Tee Cabinet. Arcade 1UP home arcades have been getting more and more popular, and they have been making improvements along the way. The first wave of them were pretty bare bones. They lacked simple things that people really like the light-up marquee and the clear protector on where you actually put your hands, the control deck. They lacked a lot of that stuff. They also just had one mono speaker, where most of the new ones now have two speakers and stereo. You know, they've been making some improvements along the way. So Golden Tee, this particular one, was kind of released in the transition between the earlier ones and the newer ones. It's kind of a tweener. It's right in the middle there. It does have the light-up marquee, and it has the deck protector and stuff, but it still only has the mono speaker that's down next to the buttons by your hands. It does come with a custom riser, and it has the nicer 17-inch display. Overall, I really do like how it looks, and the sound isn't that bad. It's fine. The other thing about the sound is that this is one of the older sound setups as far as the volume goes. Newer cabinets have a volume that's like a TV. You turn it up or you turn it down. This one still has the old 3-click where it's either off, medium, or loud. So medium's not too loud. I almost never turn it all the way up to loud and off. Well, it sort of stinks that you can't hear anything, but there's your options. So I never played any of the earlier trackball releases from Arcade 1UP, like Centipede, but I have seen that those particular cabinets had some real problems, that the I don't know, the trackball just wasn't working very well, or it would fail after not a long period of time. So I'm really happy to say that the trackball here on Golden Tee seems to be holding up. I mean, I honestly have played dozens of hours of this. Each 18-hole round probably takes at least 20 minutes if you're rushing through it and if you're playing well. But I mean, you're looking at probably a half an hour if you're going to play all 18 holes, and that's usually what I do when I turn it on, and a lot of times I play more than 18 holes and just sit there and play it when it's time to chill out. So like I said, so far so good with the controls. The trackball seems to be doing fine. Every now and then it feels a little bit wonky and you just kind of shake it a little bit and it works good. Not that it plays poorly or anything, it just makes a little more noise than you'd like to hear. So you sort of shake it up and things get back to normal. I would say try to keep it clean. Don't let anything get down in the cracks because that's going to really mess it up. So other than that, everything else about this cabinet has been holding up pretty well. I did have one issue, kind of a major issue with the screen, and we'll get back to that in just a minute. So what do you get here with Golden Tee from Arcade1Up? Well, you get 4 different games with 3 courses on each one. All 18-hole courses, but in reality it's just the exact same game with 4 different sets of 3 courses. So basically you're looking at 12 courses. So let's go through and take a look. I'll show you which ones they are. Starting off with the one at the top, Golden Tee Classic, basically Golden Tee 2001. Has the courses Mountain Springs, Anchor Cove, and Scorpion Bend. Golden Tee 2K, Golden Tee 2000 has Stone Valley, Sea Haven or Heaven, looks like Haven to me, Coyote Run. Then we've got Golden Tee 99 with Aspen Lake, Coconut Cove, and Rancho Seguro. And finally, Golden Tee 98, which has Arbor Hill, Bayou Bend, and Palm Grove. Like I said, there's very minor differences between the 4 versions. They're almost all exactly the same. They have the same music, they have the same sound effects, they have the same guy saying stuff like, you know, get the snorkel, or, you know, grab a sand bucket, or he needs a, what is it, you hit the trees? He says, get the chainsaw. All these games are hard as nails, especially they seem harder as you get into the 18 holes. I think these were set up perfectly for arcades because they start off a little bit easier and they get harder as you go. And in the arcades, it's all about hooking somebody in and making them want to pump quarters in all the way to the end. So you can see where they were going there. The other thing I've kind of noticed, and I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but out of the 3 courses available on each version of the 4, it seems almost like an easy, medium, and hard, because I seem to be able to do better on the first of the 3 courses than I can on the third. And it almost seems like the third one always is in a desert or something. Except for Golden Tee 98, that one kind of messes up the theory. But yeah, it does seem like they get harder as they go. But even the easy ones are hard. None of these are easy. The other cool thing about this is the weird things that you find around the courses. Here are some photos that we took. We found Bigfoot, a sunbathing beauty, various different animals, and of course some aliens just hanging out in the woods should you veer off of the fairway. So yeah, part of what makes it so addictive is that you want to see if you can do better. Just like real golf, you're always playing against yourself. Basically you're trying to get your best score and increase your personal best. This thing does save the best shots, and when you don't play, you leave it in attract mode, you just turn it on and you just sit there and you're waiting to play again. It does scroll through and show you some of the best shots, some of the longest drives, the best chip-ins and putts and things. It does save a lot of that stuff, but it keeps all of the stats too for each individual course. So when you go back to it, if you do increase your personal best, or if you are playing this with other people, you do get to have the bragging rights and put your initials in there and say that you have the best putt or the best drive. And even if you don't have somebody else to play, it is fun to try to just beat your last score. The worst one, though, out of all of these that it does show you is the hole-in-one club. I am constantly trying to get into the hole-in-one club, and I still have yet to do that. I don't know what it is. I just cannot get a hole-in-one on this thing. I'm trying. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. But I can't do it. but it does taunt you when you leave it on in attract mode. It'll say Hole-in-One Club, and it has all the names there. And one day I vow to be on that board. So back to being a gaming dad. This game is perfect with kids. You know, I got both of these arcade 1-ups during our current situation in the world, which is the pandemic. Everybody's having to stay home and stuff. Honestly, I will never be able to play Golden Tee again without thinking back to the days that we're currently living in. You know, the music that's here, the visuals of it, it's all just going to remind me of those days back when we were all at home together. If you're a gaming dad and you have your kids around, normally they're running around constantly having things to go to, much of which is not happening right now, so everybody's at home. And I don't know, I just thought I'd hit you with a little bit of future nostalgia. Sometimes the retro games are all about remembering back to when you were a kid, but I can feel it. It's settling into me already. 10 years from now, I hear this Golden Tee music. I'm going to be sucked right back into the time that I'm having right now with my kids, which is the one positive thing that's going on these days. So there you go. There's some future nostalgia for you. So before I let you know if you should run or if this is fun, I have to mention something. I cannot fail to mention the big issue that I personally had with this. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said we'd get back to it later. Well, here we are. If you were watching closely during the video, you might have seen a few stuck pixels. These are the ones that are always red. You can mostly see them when the screen turns black, but it's not off because the red dot stays there. This is a defect in the monitor. This occurred during the warranty period, and so I filled out a ticket with Arcade 1-Up, and I sent it to him and said, hey, I got this cabinet. You got something wrong with the monitor. It's within the warranty period. What are you going to do? So initially they were responsive, and they said, well, we need a video of the issue to prove the problem, and they needed my receipt, things like that. So I kind of expected the receipt and everything, but as far as making a video, I actually had to edit something down to make it small enough to be able to be emailed to them. But I did put it all together and I sent it to them thinking that they would say, okay, well, you've proved your point. Here you go. Well, what I wasn't expecting was the response that I did get, which was, oh, well, yeah, we see the problem that you have, but it's not a big enough problem to affect gameplay, so you're good. We're not going to do anything about it. And to me, I just kind of got a little bit angry. I was a little pissed off about that because here I have a brand new thing that's still within the very limited warranty period. I think it's only 30 or 90 days. But it was early on, and I couldn't believe that they just didn't want to do anything about it. So I had to write them back. I said, this is unacceptable. You've sold me something. There is a defect on it. I'm within the warranty period. No matter how minor it is, you need to do something about this. And I wasn't being mean about it. I was just trying to state facts. And I waited a little while, and then I finally did get a response for them. All it was here's a tracking number. We're going to send something out. So I must have appealed to their good nature or something because they did send me a new monitor. However, they did say that they were out of stock on the Golden Tee monitors. And so what they sent me was this one. It looks like it's actually from the new Pac-Man, the 40th anniversary. It's the same 17-inch monitor, but the bezel on it is for Pac-Man. So if I ever get a chance to actually take this thing all apart and swap monitors out, I have it. But I can't just simply pop the monitor out and throw this one in. I'm going to have to take everything apart, take the computer and all of the hardware off of the old one, change the bezel, do everything, and swap it over to switch the monitors. So it's better than nothing. But definitely didn't expect that I was going to have to get into an argument and work for it like that. So buyer beware on that one, I suppose. So back to the game. Aside from the issue with the monitor, I really do love the game. I play this one more than the Star Wars cabinet that I talked about earlier. I really do. It's super addictive, and it's super fun to relax and just hang out and play. Even when you play poorly, it's still just fun. It's 100% fun, this game. But that's just the game. And what we're reviewing here today is the whole entire Arcade 1-Up unit for Fun or Run. And let me tell you, they almost blew it. Because if they were just going to say tough luck, I was going to make sure to not only not recommend this one, but not recommend anything from Arcade 1-Up ever again. But they did finally come through in the end, but It's a little bit disheartening to know that you have to go through so many hoops just to get them to follow up on something that they sold you that's not supposed to have a defect like that. I know it's a minor defect right now, but you don't know. Once something starts showing bad pixels, it's only a matter of time till there's going to be more. So keep that in mind. So on Fun or Run, this thing was almost a solid run because of that, but because the game is so much fun and they finally did step up to the plate, I am going to recommend it, but it's going to be recommended with a warning that says that you may have to jump through some hoops if something is not right. So with that said, I still play the crap out of this thing and I still love it. So it just barely makes it back into the category of fun. Hey, thanks everybody for sticking with me and watching the entire video. I hope you liked it. The best way to help out the channel is to leave a like, leave a comment, and tell your friends. If you'd like to support the channel further, there are links in the description. But otherwise, always remember that you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, everybody.